Hey, just got back from a run, just felt real inspired to record a video, wanted to share something that I just kind of came to me. And it's about rejection. And it's how we often reject ourselves even before we give the opportunity for others to reject us. It's like if we come up with a new idea or have a question for someone that, our fear gets in the way of us just asking. We're so fearful that we're going to get a no or be rejected in some sort of way that we never even put that out there for the other person to reject. And can you imagine the amazing things that you could miss by not giving others the opportunity to hear what you have to say? What if they say yes? What if they ask you a question that goes deeper and it becomes a different yes? Anyway, I just like to challenge everyone to think about what they're not asking for. Are you not asking for help for an area in your life that someone could really bring value to? Do you have a business idea that you're too afraid to go move forward with, to create that patent application or pitch it to venture capital? Are you afraid to do that? Well, by doing so, you're automatically giving yourself a no without giving others the opportunity to ask you questions, to understand you, or even maybe say yes and make your dreams become reality. So I just challenge everyone to stop keeping stuff in yourself and share what you have in your heart and your mind with other people without that fear of being rejected. Because you're just really rejecting yourself before you've given others the opportunity to do that. I've really repeated myself a bunch of times, but I just really want to drive that home, that you really need to, or I feel that you're not being your full self by not putting yourself out there and trying to get people to hear you and maybe say yes. If they say no, they say no. Maybe you can ask them why they say no and again pivot that idea or ask someone else. Many entrepreneurs say that they've had to go through 100 no's before they got the one yes, and that one yes led to their dreams becoming true, their businesses becoming reality. So again, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid, because you're just making yourself small by letting that fear rule you. And how much does a no really hurt? Just go out there and just do it. Another thing to consider is your desire strong enough for what you want? Is your desire strong enough for that dream that you have, that person you want to meet, that question you want answered, the thing that you want done? Is your desire enough to really push you to the point to seek that help that you need, or to push you to that next level of what you need to do for work yourself? And in this next clip, you'll see another perspective on that. And I challenge you to watch it and contemplate these things and integrate it into your life.
Honestly, the shortcut to all your questions in terms of any how question when it comes to spirituality is the extremely intense desire for truth, freedom, liberation, purity, however you want to call realization. All problems, all obstacles arise when the desire is not extreme enough. When the desire
extreme enough.
Not intense enough, yes.
We need desire.
If we don't have a desire for freedom, for liberation, for truth, then all obstacles appear. When you have intense desire, all obstacles disappear and the way shows itself.
That's different than the Buddhist state that says, desires are...
This is the only desire that will guarantee to take you out of all lesser desires, so to speak. A very simple example of this is that, let's say that, you're afraid to ask directions. And so, you have to go, you have to get somewhere, you have to get to a museum, but you're so afraid that you don't want to ask someone for directions. As simple as that. People have that level of anxiety. So that's because the desire to get to the museum isn't big enough. That's the only reason the obstacle arises. Because if you have your own child in the car and he needs to go to a hospital ASAP or he dies, you don't even think about your fears. You'll ask for directions to the hospital because your desire to get to the hospital is big enough. All obstacles disappear. There is no question of how. You just know, you just do it. The same applies with integrating these levels of our consciousness, becoming ready and fit for contact, self-realization, enlightenment, awakening, ascension. Any of these how questions are really coming from a state of of being filled with excuses because we don't really want what we say we want.
So if we're asking how, it's just
We
like...
don't want it.
I get that. Thank you.
Sometimes, like lately, I've been saying to my audience, sometimes you guys literally are abusing me. Here, you're using me because you know the work, you know the teachings, you don't really want to get there.
Giving you, you're an excuse for not.
So I need to answer these questions. I need to answer you consistently how, because really you don't want it. If you wanted it, if you got it, if you wanted it, you wouldn't be asking these questions. Like, because you would be doing it. You'd be becoming it. It's innate knowledge. It's intuitively innate to all of us. The path always reveals itself if the desire is extremely present. But we want so many different things laterally that vertical ascension line remains largely unavailable to most people.
That's great, because I totally agree. If I'm asking, oh, tell me how, then it's...
And the Buddha had an extreme desire for liberation.
And
That's how he got to the realization that, life is suffering and that there is a way out and that desires will cause more suffering.